Good morning, everyone. Got my oats. I got my coffee. That's hot. Eeyore, what's up? It's still hot. I don't know why I'm doing that. Let's start the discussion. Today I wanted to talk about something that I've kind of touched on before. I've touched on in a lot of videos actually, and that's the topic of the thought of denial in weight loss, just in life in general. And I kind of wanted to bring up a certain thing that happened to me, like a certain thing that I was going through that I was incredibly in denial about, and that I was too afraid to admit to anyone, and that I wouldn't tell anyone. But I knew it was like I knew it was a problem, and I knew it was something that was like a big deal health-wise, but I didn't want to bring it up to anyone because I didn't want anyone to really know. So what I was going through was, when I was in high school, I was actually diagnosed pre-diabetic, whatever that even means. I remember I was in 11th grade, and no, I was a senior, and we went to the doctor, which was a huge deal for me because I hated going to the doctor. I hated going to, like, seriously, I hated it with a passion. And we went there, and it was a huge deal even getting me into the room. And we did the test or whatever. It was so embarrassing. I remember we went there and they went to try and do my like blood pressure or whatever, where they put the cuff around your arm, and they couldn't find one that was big enough, and they had to like search. It took them like 20 minutes to find a cuff that would be big enough to fit my arm. So I was already embarrassed, right? So we go through the whole thing and we get the test results back in, and I remember they said that you're diagnosed as pre-diabetic. And I remember what my thoughts were when I heard that. My thoughts were, well, at least I'm not diabetic, so I'm good. Like, I'm not joking when I say that. Like, that's what I thought. That's what I thought in my head. I was like, oh, see, all these people thought I was gonna be diabetic, but I'm only pre-diabetic. What kind of thought process is that? What kind of thought process is because I'm pre-diabetic, that means that I'm fine as long as I'm not diabetic? Like, that's terrible. Like, in my mind, I figured, well, as long as I'm not actually diabetic, I should be fine. And I remember my coach like asked me, because I went in the morning and I came back for school. So and then my next class was weight training. And I told my coach, he knew where I was. He's like, oh, how did it go? And I was like, oh, they told me I was only pre-diabetic. And I remember he looked at me and like, what? Like, that was like, you know what I mean? That kind of shocked him. And I was like, yeah, I know. Isn't that awesome? And he was like, no, man, that's not good. Why? And I was like, well, at least I'm not diabetic, so that means that we're doing fine. And I was so in denial about how bad my weight was literally getting, and how bad it was making my health. And luckily I never got to where I was diabetic, and I never had serious health conditions where I needed to take medications, but I was on that path. And another thing that happened because of, well, at least I think because of me being pre-diabetic and that being an issue for me, I was starting on my feet mainly. I would have this, my feet were really dry, and they would get like red and irritated, and like if I scratched them, this is gross, I know, but if I scratched them, they would just peel off, and like they would turn into scabs. And I remember looking stuff like that up, and like that was a precursor of diabetes, right? I never told anyone except for my mom. And I remember when I told her, she was like, what? What are you, and I just kind of brushed it. I was like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just, I just need to get lotion for it and we'll be fine. And she was like, John David, that's huge. That's a big deal. We need to like figure something out. And I was just kind of like brushing it away. It's not that big of a deal. It's just my feet, or it's just because whatever I would make up. You know, I didn't change my socks one day, or I went running and my feet got sweaty. And now that like, and it was legit, like I was having this stuff on my feet, whatever it was, you know, scabs and red irritation, I had it for months, maybe like a year, just straight, always had it. Like, I'd take my shoes off and it was just red all around my toes. I never went anywhere for that, which is, I would never recommend that. But I was scared though. That's why I was in denial, was because I was scared of what was happening to my body, and I was scared of the consequences that I was putting on myself. And that's embarrassing too. Like, I feel like a lot of the reason people, at least as far as obesity, again, I'm not a doctor or psychologist or anything like that, but I feel like the reason a lot of people don't go and get things checked out when they're obese is because they feel like, I'm doing this to myself and this is my fault, and I don't deserve any help because this is just something I'm doing to myself, and all they're gonna tell me is you need to lose weight, which does happen, and that is the case a lot of times, that you just go to the doctor and it's like, well, we're gonna need you to lose some weight, and I'm just like, you understand that is incredibly hard for me to do. You know, like when doctors are like, you're gonna need to lose some weight, and I'm just like, you understand that this is literally something I've been struggling with my whole life. I can't just lose weight. It doesn't work like, at least for me, it didn't work like that. It was like a process that I had to go through. And it's a process that a lot of people have to go through. Losing weight, I understand, and I say it a lot too, calories in versus calories out. But I mean, that's just kind of the mantra that I live by. But that's not as easy as it sounds, as we all know that, you know? It's just crazy how much in denial I was for a long period of my life, where I thought that there was nothing. The reason I was in denial was because I thought that there was nothing I could do to change my situation. I thought I was stuck doing what I was doing, living the life that I was living, and there was nothing that I could do to stop that, nothing that I could do to change that, nothing that I could do to make my life better. And now looking back, I realized that I just didn't have enough. I didn't have enough, like, belief in myself. I didn't have enough self-confidence, I guess you could call it. I just didn't believe that I could change, because there was so many reasons why I didn't think that, right? There were so many reasons why I didn't think that I would be able to do it, because of all the times that I tried before and failed, you know? All the times that I tried to lose weight, I tried to change my life, and it just didn't work out. But it doesn't, like, what I say is, like, it doesn't matter how many times you fail, as long as you make it one time, that's all that matters, you know? I failed so many times, like, as much as, you guys understand how it is. You guys know how it is losing weight and trying to do this for yourself. You know how much of a struggle it is. And so I think that that's one of the reasons that people, they go, and the reason that I feel like a lot of people resent doctors and resent going to these places, because they don't get it. They just say, you need to lose weight. And then they tell people you need to lose weight, and then someone will say to them, well, I can't, and they're like, well, here's this to help you. And then they'll give them these crazy medications, or how about you get this surgery. And I'm not against any weight loss surgery. I'm not saying that you, like, whatever, but sometimes people get the surgery when they're not ready and they don't need to do it yet. I've seen that, and I've talked to people that are like, I got the surgery and I regret it so much, because it changes your life. You have to completely change everything you do. You have to completely change your whole life. And some people aren't ready for that, but they think they are, because they're so desperate to change. They're so desperate to change their life. They're so desperate to lose the weight that they will take that step when they're just not ready for it, and they don't need to. I'm getting all sweaty, man. This is getting intense, but I think it's crazy how much in denial we can be when it comes to losing weight, and how much in denial you can be about any sort of health thing, you know? There's a lot of people that just don't go to the doctors because something's going on with their body, and they're just too scared to really admit that something's going on. They're too scared to really change anything that's going on. They feel like there's nothing they can do. They feel like they're just kind of stuck with this thing. And I mean, I'm here to tell you that if you're obese, you can change that. I promise. I am a example of that, right? I hate saying like me, but I changed, and you can too. And that's what's awesome about this. And that's what's awesome about losing weight and about all this stuff, is like, you can legitimately make a decision to increase your quality of life and increase your quantity of life, because you're gonna be living longer and you're gonna be living better. At least that, for me, that's what happened. I enjoy my life so much more now that I've lost the weight. And it's not just because I've gotten a YouTube channel and people think I'm cool and care about who I am. No, it's because I can reach down right now and tie my shoe if I wanted to. That's huge to me. I used to have to pick my shoe up off the ground and tie it in my lap and then put it on. Like, there's just little things like that it's amazing. And I will always feel blessed and honored to be able to show you guys that this is possible, and be able to hopefully help people that are trying to go through this. This isn't a video about that though, but I want to thank you guys so much for checking out the video. I'm almost done with my oats and my coffee, so thank you guys so much for all the support. It really does mean the world to me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for commenting on all the videos. Please leave a comment in this video if there's any topic you want me to talk about. And thank you guys so much. You guys are absolutely amazing. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.